Hi, welcome to Theater Talk. My name is Beth Lamy. This is the first episode of a monthly program where I highlight local community theaters and encourage you all to support the arts and local theater. Today I'm here with Lauren Sepko, the president of Southside Community Theater in Hartford, and Casey Reed, the director of their April production of Honk. They're going to tell us a little bit about Southside Theater and the production of Honk, and then we're going to get a free preview performance of some numbers from the show and meet a few other cast members. Lauren and Casey, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Beth.
Yes, thank you so much for having us.
So Lauren, Southside Theater in Hartford is a relatively new theater, with the first production being Seussical in the spring of 2025. So can you tell us a little bit about the theater and how it came about?
Sure. I am the church administrator and worship arts director at South Church in Hartford, which is where Southside meets. And back in September 2024, I had appealed to the church council that I wanted to start a theater arts program at South Church. So technically we are a ministry of the church. The whole reason behind it was I have done theater since I was in 6th grade. It has always been my very favorite thing. And when I had children, I took a long break. And so I started to think about how I could get myself back into the community theater scene. And I'd really like to start doing theater with my children. So I was, kind of looking around for like a multi-generational program, and there aren't that many that cater to all ages. And so I thought, well, why don't we try to start one ourselves? And the church council was so supportive, and they were able to give me funding to get started, and we just went for it.
So what was the most difficult part of starting a new theater?
The most difficult part was probably just the uncertainty of who we were going to get, if we were going to have enough participation, if we were able to get the word out quickly enough to have people for auditions. I started as, I'm going to direct this show, and I did everything myself to start it off. I solicited our new media director at the church, Jeremy, to create a logo, which he did a great job with. I reached out to MTI, which is Music Theater International, for the rights to Seussical, and I was approved for the rights. And then I just said, okay, I'm putting it out there, auditions. This is the date for auditions. Let's see who we get. And I was floored by the talent that came out and by the number of people who came out. And I love doing shows like that where you never turn anybody away. And so I was just so grateful that we had the people we had. And then people started coming out of the woodwork. Like my friend from the choir at church said, hey, I can help you with music direction. And then another friend from the choir said, oh, I can help you with costumes. And it was just like, it was such a team effort that I started alone and ended with a whole group of people. And it was so wonderful.
So you talked about MTI, and I don't think a lot of people understand how expensive it can be to put a show on. So can you give a brief cost estimate of what it takes for those rights, for costumes, for scenery, et cetera?
Yes. So when I first started the program, I was given by the church council $6,500. And that was based on my research that the rights for the show just to do 3 shows through MTI was going to be about $3,600. And then that gave us a little wiggle room for some costumes and props. But, we were kind of saying, we're going to do it all ourselves. We can kind of make props. We can find costumes in our closets. And it really does add up quickly. Now that we're a little bit more established and we had a really successful run with Seussical and then also with Sister Act in the fall, we have built up like a little bit of an account that we can budget a little bit more for costumes, props, advertising, that kind of thing. And so typically, we're kind of a self-sustaining program now. We're not really making any money, but we are ending in a place where, okay, now we have enough money to put on another show. And so we've been very fortunate.
So talking about shows, how do you choose what show you're going to put on?
So the first show I chose all by myself because I had been in it before, I had directed it before. And so I thought, okay, this is an easy one. I know the show like the back of my hand. I can jump in and know exactly what I'm going to do. With our second show, I had my friend who offered to do the costumes for Seussical, Darcy, said, I'd like to try directing. And so at first she wanted to do Clue, which we were really excited about, but we were not able to get the rights because it was touring. And so she said, well, I've always really wanted to do Sister Act. So we jumped in with that. And it was then that we realized we should probably have the board of the theater vote on the shows and give some input, because we said to ourselves, our fall show is going to be a little bit smaller. And so, yeah, neither of us knew what a huge production Sister Act was. And so from that point forward, we have decided that we open it up to our board. The person who wants to direct the next show gets approved by the board, and then they bring a few ideas, and the board gives their input on, well, that one logistically may not work, or this one might be really good for, the people that we know are going to come out, and that kind of thing. And so it's a group effort now.
So Casey, talking about auditioning and people coming out, can you explain a little bit about what the audition process is? If people wanted to audition, what would they expect? What would they have to do?
So it depends on your director and who's in charge. But so I personally separated 12 and under in one segmented group because I think it's a little more easygoing. We play a few games, and then we go on to learning a bit of the songs from the show itself, and then maybe having the kids read a line or two. And then the older ones, 13 and older, would prepare a 1-minute song. We normally do tracks, but are open to pianists in the future. But so we would have them read from the script and sometimes read against each other as well.
So if somebody wants to participate in a future show, either as a volunteer or as a cast member, what's the kind of time commitment that they can expect?
So we currently work on a 2-night a week. So it would be at the discretion of the director, but we are currently doing Sundays and Wednesdays. And then as we get closer to the show, everything ramps up a little bit more, so then we condense the rehearsals.
Okay, what about volunteers? Volunteers who might want to help out as stage crew, or volunteers that want to help the week of the show?
We are always open to volunteers. We always are in need of people, of stagehands, people to run spotlights, or just to corral the children downstairs and to make sure everybody's on time for their cues as well.
Okay, so people who want to get a little involved in theater, there are many opportunities to volunteer. So let's talk a little bit about Honk, which is the upcoming show. So Casey, can you tell us a little bit about the show Honk?
So Honk is a heartwarming story following the Ugly Duckling, on an adventure that is full of whims and turns throughout the whole thing, from an evil, vicious cat that is trying to cook him à l'orange, or he comes across a frog who helps him figure out his identity and that he has value in this world as well. So it's kind of this long journey from the emotional unknowingness and feeling of unbelonging to this finding himself at the end. So it's a beautiful story.
So what ages would you say that this show is appropriate for?
It is rated PG, so it is an all-age production, and our youngest in the cast is 6 years old, and our oldest is in their 50s. So
wow,
it is definitely
for everybody.
A heartwarming story. The children will fall in love with the characters and the humor in it all, and I'm sure the adults will really feel the heartwarming nature of finding yourself.
All right, so what made you choose this show?
So I used to nanny for these 2 little girls, and we would go on outings all the time, and we would listen to musicals, and one day I just ran across Honk. And Lillian, one of the children I used to watch, she fell in love with Honk, and so for about 2 years it was on repeat. Poultry Tale on repeat in the car. And so when Lauren was wanting somebody to direct, and I threw my name in the ring. I picked a few shows, but I was like, I would really love to do Honk. Like, this is something that's been in my head. I have so many ideas, and so I'm really excited to see it finally come to life after about 7 years now.
Awesome. So we're going to have 2 different songs from the show. Can you just before we have those songs, can you give us a little bit of background about the songs that we're going to hear?
So we are going to be singing Joys of Motherhood, which Ida, Lauren herself, is in, and Maureen, soon to be Auntie Marmar, as the little eggs are about to hatch and we're about to meet the ducklings for the first time. And so they have this beautiful story from talking about her mate Drake and to the hatching of the eggs themselves. So that is going to be our first song.
Okay.
And then the second one would be Play With Your Food, which has our villainous cat and Ugly. So the villainous cat has kind of swept Ugly away from the family and is now going to be cooking them up.
All right.
To be sweet and short and sweet.
Well, I am looking forward to singing these songs, and I'm sure everyone is too.
As a duck, when you're stuck, sat sitting in the middle of your nest, then at best you get bored. There goes Drake on the lake. I can see him through the rushes all the time, feeling I'm just ignored. I don't pretend that this is all he's doing. I'm a sucker for the billing and the cooing. But when you hear that pitter-patter of tiny feet, it doesn't matter how long I've had to sit here minding my brood. Those little heads all soft and downy, their baby bods all golden browny, the beaks constantly open waiting for food. It's the joy of motherhood, those little ducklings walking round in a line. I'll do what any other mother would to try to do my best at bringing up mine. It's the joy of motherhood, those little perks that make it all seem worthwhile. I'll do what any other mother would to get my ducks decked out and living in style.
Morning, Ida.
Morning, Maureen.
How's the mother-to-be?
Well, she'd be better if the father who was better at being the father who is.
Oh.
I sometimes think I would have been better off pairing with a decoy.
Well, I'm sure Drake will make a marvelous dad when the family arrives.
Not him. Duck by name, duck by nature. Ducking out of his responsibilities. You know, I say if eggs were meant to be sat on all day, then the butts should have been made with big old dimples in them.
Oh, Ida, the very thought. How much longer do you have to go?
Well, by my reckoning, they should be out by now. I went to all of my prenatal hatching classes run by that self-satisfied stork, and she said about half a month, but 2 weeks is up.
Oh, well, the best things come to those who wait.
I don't know. Why do we put ourselves through it? Every spring, it's exactly the same.
But just think of the reward. All those lovely little ducklings.
All those beaks to feed.
Waking you up at all hours.
Getting into deep water.
Attracted and wanted admirers.
Like the cat.
But when you hear that dibble dabble, you're proud to say, hey, that's my rabble. Then watch their maiden voyage out from the bank.
Like champagne corks, you'll see them bobbing.
Accompanied by mothers sobbing,
Relieved, thanks be to nature, nobody sang. It's the joy.
Prepare yourself, Ida.
Oh, they're here! Oh my goodness, look at the feathers! Oh my goodness! Twins! It's the joy
Scratch the antique furniture to sharpen up your claws. You can lacerate the cushions if you're ever shut indoors. You can dig up all the flowers from the freshly planted beds. And with articles of clothing, it's okay to pull some threads. But I remember as a kindergarten kitten one phrase that left me singularly smitten. You can play with your food before you eat it. You can chivvy your chow before you chew. You can play with your food, you can't beat it. So ducky, let me play with you. You can play with your food before you bite it. You can toy with your tuck before the crunch. You can play with your food, why fight it? It's a crazy little game called lunch. So, tell me, Ducky, what would you like to play? It can be anything. I won't tell your mother.
Anything? Well, I'd like to paddle in puddles, dabble in mud, tickle little backs in shallows. Then maybe it's time go sliding in the slime to the marsh where you find marshmallows. I'll go and slay a dragonfly, watch water boatmen race. To say that cats are dangerous is clearly not the case.
Oh, I'd like to play a game that's sharp and witty, and preferably with something in the kitty. You can mess with your mood before you nibble. You can jest with your joint before you slice. You can play with your food, but don't dribble. My mama gave the best advice. You can play with your food before you gulp it. You can mess with your meal before you munch. You can play with your food, then pulp it. It's a crazy little game called lunch.
We could go rushing the rushes, that's found ditch, find a kind of place where it's boggy. Then make a little camp that is secretive and damp for me and my mate the Moggy. And if the other ducklings want to come and join our games, they have to make a promise first to stop calling me names.
Oh, I'll help you to forget the way they scolded, just as soon as I have got my napkin folded. So it's hide and seek, is it? You can play that game. Where are you? Am I getting warmer? There you are. Food before you eat it. You can shiver your chow before you chew. You can play with your food, you can't beat it. So ducky, 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 let me play with you. You can play with your food before you bite it. You can toy with your tuck before the crunch. You can play with your food, why fight it? It's a crazy little game. Tell me, Ducky, do you like oranges?
I don't know, I've never tried one.
Well, suck on this. It's a crazy little game called lunch.
Amazing job, you guys. What a fun show this seems like it's going to be. So previously, we met Lauren Zepko, who plays Ida, but we're now joined by Kayleen Brown, who plays Kat. We have More Correa, who plays Maureen, and Sayori Otero, who plays Ugly. So I think it's important to recognize that having the availability and the accessibility of the arts at every level, from elementary school to high school to community theaters like this one, is what allows actors to succeed in Broadway or Hollywood. So on that note, for each of you, what was your first show and at what age? So starting with you.
Yeah, so my first show was with the Colchester Community Theater. Oh my God, I was probably like 10 or 11, 9 maybe. It was Schoolhouse Rock Live Junior. It was really fun. It was so long ago I barely remember it, but my favorite part was when I got to hold up a little sign. We had glow-in-the-dark t-shirts. It was pretty great.
Moray?
My first show was Susical, actually last year, so I started late at 23. And it was really sweet. It was very nostalgic for me because I grew up with the Susical books and all that, so it was really nice for that to be my first show.
I was in the same production as she was. I started last year. Yeah, it was fun. I was a turtle and I loved it. It was awesome.
Okay, so with that, what has been your favorite role?
Okay, so the last role I was in, I think, is one of my favorites. I played Crutchy in Newsies. It was tough, mostly because I was on a crutch and I had to like do all the dances.
It's a lot of dancing.
On a crutch. Yep. But it was really fun, and the cast was great. And I would say this is a close contender, if not surpassing Crutchy. It's really fun.
Okay. What was your favorite role?
I'm not sure. It might be this one, actually, because it resonates with me kind of as the auntie vibe. I like that a lot. But also, I'm a big fan of Sister Act, and I've been in it twice, and I've been a nun both times. So I really enjoyed that.
This one, cause I don't know, I just feel connected to the character, and also cause like it's my first main role, so.
Excellent. Okay, so what is your favorite thing about the theater?
The community. Yeah, community. I think it's so important, not only in the context of, how it brings everyone together, but in the broader context of like the world. And like, I think we're all somewhat disconnected, so community is really important to bring us together. And it's so great to get to know both of you. And
Me too.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
My favorite part would just be just exploring the arts and getting to put yourself out there and follow your dreams and your passion in a creative way that allows other people to see and enjoy and feel happy from that.
That's a great answer.
My favorite part is the music and just the community as well, because I love music. It's probably one of my favorite things ever, and yeah.
Awesome. So lots of community. Last question for all of you. Tell us a little bit about your character in Honk and what the biggest challenge, but also the best part of this role has been for you.
So my character Kat is quite a scoundrel. He's quite vicious. I think my favorite part about the character is I get to be so expressive and just make a bunch of wacky character choices. Casey, our director, has been really helpful with that and supportive. And I would say, yeah, it's just as a whole, it's really fun.
Okay.
And the challenges I would say is interacting in character with the other characters and essentially trying to figure out the dynamics that the characters have with each other. It's challenging, but it's really rewarding when you figure it out and when it clicks.
Okay. And you already said being an aunt really resonates with you.
I grew up, I've always been the oldest of my siblings, my cousins, everyone, so I was kind of like second mom. So just the auntie vibe in general, I'm like really comfortable with it. I love I love being the bigger person for my little children all the time. Yeah, it's sweet. And then the hardest part, I guess, would just be being more out there, because I think I've always been more of a background character. This is kind of my first up there character with a number to myself and all that. So it's different. It's like more than I'm used to, but I like it a lot.
And yours is definitely an up there character.
My favorite thing about the character is that I can express myself in a way, and like I don't know, I just feel like I fit more playing a sad character, and I feel like the most hardest part about playing the character is like trying to show the emotion to the audience and yeah.
Great. we have this show, but I also would like to highlight some other shows that are coming up in April and May at theaters within an hour radius of Tolland County. And there's so much variety. So there's everything from plays like Harvey, which is about a man with an invisible 6-foot-tall rabbit named Harvey as his best friend. There's another play called 20th Century Blues, which is about 4 women who reunite annually for a photo shoot over 40 years. We have classic musicals like Chicago, the Tony Award-winning musical set in the 1920s with Roxy Hart and Velma Kelly. We have Kiss Me Kate, the Cole Porter musical, which is based on Shakespeare's The Taming of the Shrew. There's Merrily We Roll Along, the Stephen Sondheim musical that tells the story of 3 friends in reverse chronological order. We have The Secret Garden, which is a musical based on the book by Frances Burnett, which tells the story of orphaned Mary Lennox, who discovers a magical hidden garden, bringing joy to herself and her sickly cousin Colin. Then we have movie adaptations turned musical, including Pretty Women, the stage adaptation of the classic 1990 film about a prostitute who finds love. There's School of Rock, the musical that tells the story of Dewey Finn, a failed rock star who poses as a substitute teacher at a prestigious prep school and turns his class of straight-A students into a rock band. There's The Prom, a musical about 4 self-absorbed Broadway stars who travel to conservative Indiana to help a lesbian high school student who's banned from bringing her girlfriend to prom create a prom for everyone. And then we have some really unique stories, like The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals, which is a horror comedy stage musical with aliens. And there's even a musical review, Jerry's Girls, full of Jerry Herman's iconic female-driven songs from his hits like Hello Dolly, Mame, and La Cage aux Folles. So truly there is a show, if not multiple shows, to suit everyone of all ages. And do not forget Honk, which is playing at South Church in Hartford from April 24th to April 26th. They have a new summer program. It's going to be 2 weeks in July, ages 8 to 14. You can check their website, scthartford.org, for more information. But thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you will all support local theater and also tune in next month as I highlight another local community theater and more upcoming shows in May and June. Thank you.